here we are again with another episode of the Sloth Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I'm Dr. Bob.
And we were supposed to have a guest for this episode, but he canceled at last moment. But one of the things I was definitely going to bring up with him, because he's a singer, is I think we need to start a new tribute band and call it the Epsteins. And make it
a tribute.
Yes, a tribute to all the pedophilia songs. How many did you say you looked up? 170 something?
I want to say it was 166. I went on Spotify and typed in jailbait, and before I could even finish typing it in, it gave me a playlist of all kinds of classics.
I started making a list of my own and got up with about like 10 or 12 before I was like, all right, yeah, there's got to be an easier way. But yeah, there's just so many songs, you know. There's just so many, the Beatles and Ringo and
Beatles, Chuck Berry, there's quite a few. Winger,
it's
every genre.
I guess pedo is not as popular as it used to be. Pedo is the new, I don't know, what is the biggest vice been for pedo is the new drug addict, I guess, or something. I don't know, but here's the thing I don't understand about the whole pedo craze. Where are the parents? If there's 300,000 kids missing, there should be 600,000 screaming parents, aren't
right?
Where are they?
I've always assumed that majority of these kids are either orphans or single parents, or the parents have given up looking for them at a certain point, or perhaps sometimes the parents are even complicit and or paid or involved, which sadly sometimes is the case.
Well, that's what I'm thinking of, like Epstein Island. How do you where's our 15-year-old?
Yeah. Where has she been getting all this money lately?
Yeah. I mean, how does that happen exactly without the parents going, like, what's going on with this?
He was paying them. I mean, it wasn't what he was doing wasn't right, but they were going home with money. And surely somebody was asking where the cash was coming from.
And did you hear the latest thing is his story about that Guthrie chick or whatever?
Giuffre,
whatever, that he, that's supposedly why they broke up their friendship.
Oh, but then that fucks up the timeline that he posted.
Well, not only that. How the hell would she? She's a low level.
Yeah.
You're
mad because somebody stole the towel girl from the spa.
Yeah, exactly. But the pedophilia is okay. I don't mind that.
Tell me you micromanage your business without telling me that you do. Like, how is that even possible that you would know who she was?
And the fact that they think
she was so hot. That's exactly why he knew who she was.
And the fact that they think this is just going to go away is just so amazingly just the hubris of these people. They're like, oh yeah, no, there's nothing to, yeah, right. It's crazy. And then, so last episode, I was mentioning the thing about Tucker and Nick Fuentes accusing themselves of being plants, Fed, CIA, whatever. When you think back about it, who isn't a plant? Who isn't a Fed? Is Alex Jones a Fed? I was wondering if Marilyn Monroe was a Fed. Are we Feds?
Are we real? We could be AI and Feds. We could be federal AI agents.
It's just like nowadays. It's like,
Alex Jones being a Fed. That made I recently rewatched Reservoir Dogs, and it really holds up well. But there's you just made me think of the great scene in there where Steve Buscemi's character points to Michael Madsen and he goes, "I know you're not a cop. I know you're on the level because you're too fucking psychotic to work with the police." So Alex Jones might not be a Fed for a reasoning similar to that.
Well, and again, like I said, it doesn't mean he's like, they're just like, hey, Alex, we want you to say this. Here's some money.
Here's another thing too. If you scream into the void and say enough crazy shit, you're going to get some stuff right occasionally. Every now and again. True. Just like a stop clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. Good point there. Yeah, let's see how that all comes out. Oh, and and a related, I think I might run for office. And here's the whole concept. I'm going to run for office and do such a shitty job that I make sure there's some mechanism to have me removed.
Maybe the reason a lot of these rules were created because of you. That's right. Do these laws apply to me?
I'm literally going to go. I want to get elected and just do such a shitty job of whatever they. And the thing is,
kind of like getting a bill named after you, like a Pelosi Act or something, something along those lines.
No, but I mean, even if you got elected and did a shitty job, who's going to know the difference? But if you do enough shitty job where people are like, holy crap, this guy is just horrible. How do you remove him? I mean, there's got to be some mechanism to this guy, I know we voted for him, but we got to get rid of him.
You going to go the George Santos route?
What's that?
What was that? That was
Santos?
Santos, the guy that just fucking lied out of his ass and just completely made up.
Why
crazy
not?
shit.
Why not? Oh God! You know, he was on a podcast. Who was it? I think it was Tucker. Yeah,
I've seen him on a couple.
Yeah, I seen him on Tucker, and he was talking about how much sex there was and how much drugs there are and drunks and shit in Congress.
He had a good little run.
What's that?
He had a good little run for himself. There.
Yeah,
It was kinda,
yeah.
I'm sure he had a lot of fun.
I think he's going to end up doing some time, which for him, I don't know. Who knows? he might have a good time in there.
Yeah, it won't be that bad. He won't do much time, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. So you know who Dershowitz is, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. Did you happen to notice that he told somebody that he was introduced to Epstein by the Rothschilds?
No.
He just recently went on some thing. He goes, yeah, back in the day, I got introduced by the Rothschilds. It actually introduced me to Epstein. It's like, you're not helping yourself.
Right. And have you heard that,
connecting the dots.
Epstein is the one who introduced Trump to Melania? Or
Oh,
Melania
yeah,
to Trump?
yeah, I know all about that. And here's the other thing. And I was surprised to even hear Doug Massey use the term sweetheart deal in reference to Epstein, because maybe he doesn't know either, but there was no sweetheart. What's that?
The Acosta deal?
Yeah. But here's the thing people don't realize, and I learned this from who's the controversial historian dude that everybody thinks is a Nazi now?
Victor Hansen.
No, the guy that's always on. The guy. Anyway, he was saying that the reason they had to give him that sweetheart, he was in Israel. He wasn't coming back.
Right.
You know, so the only way they're getting him back is go, look, you know, we know you got to, but we'll just take it easy on you. We'll let you go. You know, we go to one day a week. You know, we'll go easy on you.
Right. You only have
That's
to
the only
sleep
reason
there,
they got him back here. Otherwise, he would have never come back to America. What the fuck would he? That'd be stupid. So it's like all these, sweetheart deal. That's the only way he was coming back. There's no other way. And it's hilarious that they kind of use that to lure him back and then kill him. You know, it's like
they never offered Polanski a sweetheart deal. They never got him back. He spent his whole life in France, I think.
Well, he's probably smart enough to know not to take the deal. That's just it's so crazy when you actually find out all the facts, it just becomes so obvious. You know, if these are facts indeed, you know, which is who the fuck knows, man? Who the hell knows? You know, it's funny. I made a comment on a post on Facebook. It was something. Oh yeah, the post basically was trying to claim that there's been faster temperature rise in the last 50 years than in the last 500 million years. Yeah,
that's. First of all, I don't know how you could accurately even determine that.
Thank you.
I memean, you can determine changes in climate, but how are you going to register the speed with which?
Well, I actually found a site and backed up my claim. It showed the client, and it was all over the place. And it's like, yeah, see, it happens all the time. But the point of my even saying that is some of the responses of people just like, I literally, most of the time going, hey, I loved you in Idiocracy. It's like, what kind of morons are like, oh, you're just an idiot. Okay. That's a great argument. That's all you got?
Well, most people, if they hear something that confirms, confirmation bias, if they hear something that confirms or conforms with what they already believe, they're more likely to repeat it and reinforce it.
But if you're going to even make a comment, why bother with, I don't know, I guess that's satisfying to some people, just go, back at you.
Screaming into the void.
Yeah, basically. And it's just like some of the idiotic comments I got in response of just like, and they're just so hateful and stupid. It's like, look, if actually there was one guy that actually kind of got on there and scientifically debated with me, and we came to a mutual conclusion that that's probably not so accurate. There's no way to tell, much like the conversation we had. But there's like 98% of the rest of them are like, you're an idiot. Okay.
Right. No critique, no criticism, actual information.
Literally like some guy, like one of the people in Idiocracy, like, yeah, you're dumb.
Welcome to Costco, I love you. That guy.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
I seen an interview with Mike Judge about that movie, and they were asking him like some of the choices that he made, and one of the choices was for costuming. It was his idea to use Crocs. Have everybody wearing Crocs.
Oh, right.
And the reason he did it was because he was convinced that those shoes were so stupid that they wouldn't, that, they would only be there briefly, and that, we would never imagine that they would have turned out to be as popular as they are, which once again just goes to reinforce how accurate that movie is in predicting the future. The biggest mistake, though, in that future, or the inaccuracy in that, is that in that movie, Dwayne Elizondo, Hector Macho Camacho, Mountain Dew, Terry Cruz's character as the president, recognizes that there's somebody on Earth smarter than him and gives him authority to do something, which would never happen on the course that we're currently plotting. So they would never let the smartest person be in charge of anything. So other than that, it's pretty good, though.
Well, I just burned through everything else.
I would drink Brondo if it existed in the real world.
Rondo?
Brondo.
Brondo? Was that from the movie? I don't remember.
It's got electrolytes. Yeah, that's what plants crave. It's good shit, man. It's like Gatorade. I'm sure he wanted to use Gatorade, but thought he'd be sued.
Okay, actually, you know what? What's the point of... all right, I feel the same way about protesting as religion. I will fight for your right to do it, no matter how stupid I think it is. So what is the point of some of this stupid protesting? And here's the thing. If you're going to protest, if you don't have like 100,000 guys to their 100 cops... it's not a protest. It's not, you're not gonna sway any. It's useless. It's pointless. It's not like somebody at home's gonna go, oh, look at all those people. I'm gonna change my mind about that.
I mean, I guess the theory is that it's drawing attention to something that you want other people to become aware of. But certainly in today's day and age, there's more effective ways to do that than standing out and getting hosed, and tear gassed and standing out in the hot sun and whatnot.
I don't think anybody does not know about Gaza.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's much better ways to get the point out now. Yeah. Stanhope did a whole bit about protests and how they could have been made more effective. He was specifically referring to the Occupy Wall Street ones.
Oh, I think I remember this. Yeah,
and he made a great point. He's like, instead of going and fucking up a park for however long you guys were there, go, organize yourselves and go to every bank and start filling out frivolous loans and applications and just eat up their whole day, sit there and make so that the bank agents have to do all this stupid, needless, busy work. Yeah. And while they're doing that, they're not giving loans out to other people. So, and then he even went so far as to say, as long as you guys were there, you could have sent some of your guys to police academy on day one, and they would have been actively in the force by the time that they were coming after you, and it could have given you a heads up with a little microphone and say, hey, man, you might want to put your gas mask on around 2 o'clock. I'm paraphrasing the bit, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, there's more effective ways of organizing a protest than what most people do. And then some of it is so stupid, too, like gluing your hands to artwork in a museum or something.
Or standing in traffic.
Standing in traffic and blocking
the road. Get the fuck out of the way.
I've seen them standing in traffic blocking ambulances. You're not garnering any sympathy with the public by doing something like this.
And, and that's the thing. Blocking traffic is not... There are people in traffic that are now going, I used to like what you were saying.
I thought you had made a good point, but
now I'm going to run you over.
Exactly. Now I've got stuff to do.
So this brings me to the larger point of, are people smart enough for democracy?
That's an argument that's been made many, many times, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why what we have is not a complete. That's why we have a republic where we have elected officials, but
that's not working so well either.
Even assuming you took out the lobbying and the corruption, are those people even smart enough to?
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
And of course, I'm sure I've said this before, but we're doing the governing of this country exactly backwards from what they're supposed to. It's not supposed to be governed from the top down. It's supposed to be governed from the bottom up. We should be much more concerned about who's on our city commission than who the fucking president is.
Local elections are the ones that actually affect your life in most ways.
And not only that,
how your taxes are determined, and your.
Not only that, I mean, that used to be the way that we kept the federal government in check, is people would be like, we're not doing that. And then the federal government wouldn't have any choice. They'd be like, oh, shit, well, we tried to do this, but nobody's doing it, because they just said, forget it, we're not doing it, And right now, the way it is now, the federal government has so much, power and sway over the states, they have to do what they want them to do.
And so much information, especially coming. They're going to just have even more as soon as Palantir gets completely online. Oh, God. Yeah. That's going to be a disaster. Yeah. And we also, we're moving away from a democratic republic, and we're definitely moving towards a technocratic state.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, the power will be a little bit more consolidated.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a post just before I came, actually, today. This basically was saying that, like, I feel so stupid for telling, the younger generation to, follow the rules. And, it doesn't seem like, I'm like, when did we ever follow the rules? We've never followed the rules. There's a thing called the Constitution that we ignore on a daily basis all the time. We never followed any rules. What rules are you telling them to follow?
And ever since the get-go, we've amended it 26 times.
Oh, speaking of which, all right. So Steve Bannon was on Bill Maher. I think it must have been an old episode because I think he's only done once since he got back. I don't think it was that one. But anyway, Bill Maher is in a gotcha moment, pulls out a Constitution and reads the 22nd Amendment to Steve Bannon, because Steve Bannon's trying to get Trump in for a third term. And he reads the thing, shall only serve 2 terms. Doesn't seem there's like a lot of wiggle room, and hands the Constitution to Steve Bannon. And Bannon, like an idiot, just starts blathering about something else. What I would have done is gone, okay, hold on a minute. I would have then read the First and Second Amendments and said, doesn't seem there's a lot of wiggle room there. It's like, come on, man. Of all the, and certainly of all the...
I would have pointed to, the prohibition and the repeal of prohibition.
Yeah.
Go, look, you can write an amendment that cancels out another amendment. Like, it's been done.
And, it's funny. The Constitution, after about the first 5 amendments, it's kind of just a bunch of bullshit. And truthfully, the Second Amendment you don't need because you're not going to keep guns out of anybody's hand. The Third Amendment we don't really need because I don't think the cops are trying to stay in your house anymore.
Isn't that the Fourth?
No, the Fourth is your search and seizure stuff.
Oh, on your
yeah.
person.
The Second and Third are kind of and then anything from the 6th to like the 10th is all just court stuff, which I guess you need if you're a lawyer, whatever. But it's all kind of like trial stuff and court stuff, which is fine. And then after that, there's a bunch of shit like, why do we need an amendment that says the slaves are free when right in the Constitution it says all men are created equal? Can't we just go by that?
Right.
Why do we need an amendment that says, okay, no, we really mean it. we weren't kidding. We really mean all men. We're not.
I guess technically they would still have to do the amendment to give women the vote. It didn't say anything about it. It just said all men.
Is there an amendment for women to vote? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Shit. Yeah. Which one is that?
I can't remember which number it is, but it is funny that
it's got to be like
women didn't get the right to vote until after black men.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it must be like the 12th or maybe 15th or something.
I wanted to say it was the 19th or the 20th or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that,
could be. I don't know. Once you get past
it was an amendment.
Once you get past 5, it gets pretty damn. But then it's not. They're not used that much. They're not even needed that much. You need the first. You need the fourth. You need the fifth. That's about it.
Right. Well, Carlin did a bit where he broke down the 10 Commandments.
And that's
stripped
hilarious.
them down to like 3, I believe, or essentially it all come down to one sentence: was "Don't be a dick."
Yeah, and it's hilarious that they want to put these things in courthouses. Like none of this stuff's illegal. The 10 Commandments, I think 2 of them are illegal. The rest of them are perfectly legal stuff to do.
Yeah, thou shalt not kill. That's illegal. And in the original Hebrew, it's thou shalt not murder. There's a big difference between thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not murder.
Right. Well,
because clearly self-defense, war, and it really only meant thou shalt not murder members of thine own tribe.
Yeah,
and that is the actual meaning behind the commandment itself. Can't read your own writing, huh?
Nah, I don't even have my glasses on. Oh, did you see Kamala Harris?
Oh, not running for governor?
Yes.
Right?
Thank you for quitting. Thank you so much. Huh?
That would have been comical, though.
What, if she ran and lost?
Yeah.
Well, she might actually won. But, yeah, thank you. And thanks
do you think she didn't do it so she can, keep herself wide open to run again for president on the next one?
I don't think she's got a chance.
Here's the thing, though. She could never win the primary. Which is
what primary?
Exactly. I'm saying if she ever tried to go that route and do it that way, as she had proved the first time she tried to run. You
realize that was just somebody pointed out that there hasn't been a non-rigged Democratic primary since like 2016. Every one of them's either been rigged for Hillary against Bernie or whatever, or rigged for Biden, and then Biden obviously. It's insane. Here's the other thing. You get these people arguing about the redistricting redistricting. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying? For those of us that don't vote for Democrats and Republicans, it's just who cares? Who gives a shit? It doesn't mean anything. It's just so ridiculous that these partisan parties can try to determine and that people are so stupid to even fall for it. Like, it doesn't matter what district you're in, you can vote any way you want.
Right.
It's so crazy. What was the other thing I was just going to talk about?
You know, the only reason to not be in the, like you said, you can vote for anybody you want, but there could be reasons why you would want to register as one party or another. I know in the state of Florida that the elections, like presidential elections, are open. You can vote for whoever you want, but as far as the primaries go, you can only vote if you're a registered member of that party.
Well, first of all, yeah, and well, here's the thing. Primaries, as important as they are not elections. They're not, they're just your club picking your representative. There's nothing legally binding. They can make up the rules any way they want. You can't you can't do that. It's against them. No, there are no laws against doing anything in a primary. Other than, basically cheating campaign laws or whatever, but.
Isn't there also technically no law that says the electors have to abide by the wishes of their constituents? Like, aren't they free to literally choose whomever they want?
Well, that's the Electoral College.
Right, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
And that needs to go. That's just ridiculously stupid. Why? I don't even understand the argument people keep making to keep that. It doesn't make any sense. Why is there an electoral college? It's stupid. Just count the votes and I don't know. It seems very anti-democratic, if you ask me, but
right.
Whatever. There's something else I was going to say too. Now I can't remember what it was. I think I'm getting the dementia, and you know why I think so is I'm having a hard time. Like, I can remember people's first name real quick, but then I can't. God, what was their last name? I'm just having a hard time recalling names.
You've just met too many people. Your brain is finally full. You can only remember like 1,000
I think
people.
that's what dementia is, right? I've told you my C drive theory, right?
Right, you just run out of space.
Yeah, if your brain's like a computer, you're taking in information 24/7. Sooner or later, your C drive's going to get full, and you're going to want to pull up some information. And that little wheel starts going, and
right. Unless you want to go the Gary Busey route and do a memory erase.
I don't think that helped his memory chip very much, though. I don't know. I tell you what, man, as crazy as that motherfucker is, he seems to be loving life, so good for him, man. What was the last movie he was in? I keep thinking he was in Tropic Thunder, but that was what's his name? The other guy.
Yeah, he wasn't in Tropic Thunder.
He was a guy in Tropic Thunder, and I'm thinking of him.
Jack Black?
No, the guy that played the old Vietnam guy.
Oh.
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. Yeah.
I always get those two conflated for some reason.
Wow, yeah. No, they're definitely not the same person.
No, yeah, but I don't know why I get those two confused. But yeah, so what was the other guy's last movie? I'm sure that he's probably done like a cameo in something, and something recent, and just did a couple of lines or something. But I can't. I recall kind of seeing him in something.
He's been in some weird shit, man.
True.
The one role popped into my head. He was the crazy uncle in that Silver Bullet movie, that Stephen King werewolf movie about the kid in the wheelchair.
I don't think I ever saw that.
His town was plagued by a werewolf that was like the preacher or something.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Gary Busey plays his crazy uncle, and he builds him this like super jacked up wheelchair, like go-kart, like with a gasoline powered engine on it, and that's the only way the kid stays alive. Thing goes like 40 or 50 miles an hour.
Only Gary Busey movie I can even picture him in is the one with Seagal, like a submarine or something, or a ship or something.
Under Siege,
something like that. Yeah. Speaking of, have you seen? You ever see Seagal run?
I've seen him waddle. I've never seen him run.
Oh my God!
Oh, when he was young and he would do the girl run with his arm. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, he runs the opposite of Tom Cruise. Like, he should never run in any of his films. It does not look good when he does it.
Well, it looks like he's like trying to push the air out of the way.
Yeah. Have you seen any of his recent straight to DVD stuff? I've literally seen some. I watched this YouTube channel called So Bad It's Good. It's a great channel, and they rank movies, and they've done a lot of Seagal movies.
Oh, I'm sure.
And some of the later ones, man, he literally fights while sitting in a chair. It's hilarious. His accent is all over the place.
I'll kick your ass.
Sometimes he sounds Russian. Sometimes he tries to sound black or hoodish. God, it's hilarious.
How did those guys even parlay their no talent ass into a movie career anyway? I mean, did they pay for them by themselves or something? Did they have rich friends?
Originally, he was like all mob connected or something. I think that's how he got the first couple of his movies done.
So, we were talking earlier about the Epstein thing, or last episode, maybe even, I don't even know, this blurs all together now. But I was wondering the other day, I was like, who's done more damage to the country, the Fed or Epstein?
The Federal Reserve?
Yeah. I mean, Epstein,
they've been at it a lot longer. That's kind of not fair. You know what I mean?
Well,
you gotta give it to
here's the thing. I mean, the Fed's obviously done $38 trillion worth of damage, but if Epstein's, responsible for 21 of it, that makes him kind of right up there in the running. I don't know. It's just, and then I guess that's got to be the way that they can give Barry Weiss $250 million because, we'll just print it. We'll just make it up and just to think that the disparity of the people that deal with that much money.
Not even printed. It's just electronic numbers on a screen. A transfer. A couple of decimal points.
This is true. Anyway, what else you got? You got anything else?
What else have I got here? Did you see do you know what the T app is? Did you hear about the T app and the leak?
Say it again.
There's an app. It's called T, and I guess it's TEA. I'm assuming it's like gossip.
It's like a dating app.
Yes, originally it was created under the auspices of safety for women, so that they could share. This guy's really.
I didn't know that.
Hey, this guy's really married, or this guy beat my ass, or he's a player, or he's a this or that. But what it really has turned into is just a bunch of scorned women gossiping, spilling the tea about men, and only women are allowed to be on the site. So it's quite an invasion of privacy because you can be all your private information, your pictures and everything will be put on this site if you're a man, and they'll say whatever they want to say about you. You have no way of knowing that it's there unless you get like your sister.
How do I know if I put on a wig that I'm not a woman?
I don't know what the procedure is. I've seen a couple of videos about it.
And isn't that politically incorrect?
Yeah. Like, why couldn't you say,
I'm a they, them. What do you mean?
Literally define a woman, exactly. But I don't know what procedure or what criteria they use to do this. But apparently the whole site got hacked. And so not only did it release the information that they had gathered about all these dudes, but it released all of their information, all the women that are on the app, like their names and pictures and everything. And the term hacked is probably not really the proper way to put it, because apparently, from what I've seen, the shit wasn't even encrypted. Like, all this information was just in a doc file. Oh, yeah. And so all you had to do was just go there and open it, and there it was.
It's funny. My dad just called me the other day, and he goes, yeah, I got these things that I didn't know what they were. I thought they might be to you, and I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He opens them up and he goes, oh, they're saying my data's been breached. I'm like, well, does that matter to you? He goes, no, I don't give a shit. Like, I guess what are they going to do with all this data? Who cares?
I mean, obviously supposedly they sell it to advertisers, but at what point does it no longer become valid? I mean, yeah, once you have everybody's data, what more can you do with it? I
don't know.
Maybe use algorithms to have predictive models for your behavior. But again, what benefit is there to know what everybody is about to do? I don't know. I don't get it. The world is getting far too complicated for me to keep track of anymore.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense because there's just so huge, vast amount of meta money and info and data and bullshit going on. It's like, how can I've never really understood advertising. I mean, like, I know obviously it works, but how the fuck does it work? I mean, it's like you see some of the stupidest ads on the planet, and you're like, well, they wouldn't be doing it if somebody wasn't buying it.
Right. I can't think of any time I've ever been convinced by an ad to buy a product. Now, I will say that occasionally I will see an ad for something that's like a new invention or something that I didn't know existed.
That's kind of cool. I need
it looks kind of cool. And sometimes things that are not technically ads but work as well as ads. Here's a good example. I just bought this little flashlight. I don't need a flashlight, right? But I was watching a YouTube video, and it was about technology. And essentially this guy was bitching about how can these things be this good at this price? So he's showing the product, and it's I don't want to advertise for it, but basically it's this little $20 anodized aluminum cased flashlight. He throws it completely underwater. It still works. Like, it's got a lot of really cool features, and they're selling it on Amazon, which means Amazon is taking 40%. So how are these guys making at $11 or whatever, or $12 per unit? How are they possibly making money? He goes on to show like these chess pieces that he makes as a novelty for his website, and he had to have the pieces anodized or whatever. And his price ended up coming out to be like $100 a piece for these little knickknacks. And he's like, how can they do the same process to these flashlights with the internal electronics and everything and still sell it at $20 and make money?
Maybe they're using that Sweeney chick and making her a Nazi.
I don't know. But needless to say, as soon as I got done watching the video, I went straight to Amazon and bought the flashlight and got it the next day. I wish I'd have brought it with me because it is super cool. Right. It's like the size of a cigarette lighter. It hides in your hand.
Cool.
It's got 3 different magnets on it so you can attach it to anything. The light itself swivels back and forth. It goes up to like 400 lumens. It's got a clip so you could put it on a hat, wear it like a miner's hat or something.
Wow.
Like, it's a really useful little thing for $20. I was pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, that's the only time advertising ever works. And can you tell me what's the controversy with this chick and the jeans? I don't get it.
It's a ridiculous thing to be mad about. It's a simple play on words.
I don't even get it.
Why
She has great
mad?
genes.
Yeah, she has great saying because she won the genetic lottery because she's hot.
So why is that? I don't understand.
G and jeans with a J. But
so why is anybody upset about that? I don't understand.
Because leftists are, I guess, some of them are complaining that she's saying she has great genes and she's blonde-haired and blue-eyed, implying that only blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan people have great genes. It's just some dumb shit to be married. Nobody was up in arms when Beyonce was doing jeans for
it's just so
commercials.
ridiculous.
It's just something stupid to be angry about.
And that's the thing.
It's a nothing burger. It's
pretty
another
clear,
distraction.
It's pretty clear at this point that the MAGA world has split into 3 sections. All right, there's a section that like literally a picture of him fucking a baby could come out and they'd be like, oh no, that can't be real, and like that cult. There's another section that's cultish against him, but that cult is just insane. There's another cult section of MAGA now, like the Dave Smith, Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson. They're like, we lied again, And then there's this like nebulous middle thing of people that are just focused on this bullshit culture war shit that means nothing. It's completely nothing burgers of nothing, and that's what they got to focus. It's like, what the fuck? What are you even thinking about?
It's bread and circuses. It's just to keep the masses divided and occupied. And then it works wonderfully.
And the other thing is like, look, I could give a shit about immigration. What's the big thing about immigration, man? Holy crap. All right, look, I don't want anybody coming from a different country and taking my benefits, so let's just not give them a Social Security number. How about that? Other than that, I don't give a shit if they want to come here and work. What difference does it make?
I don't care if people want to come here and work, and I don't care about legal immigration like that at all. What I do have a problem with is people and groups of people that come here that don't want to assimilate in any way culturally and want to bring their culture that may not jive so well with our laws and traditions and try to institute those here in this country.
Well,
and I do have a problem with that.
Well, I don't care about the institutions. The laws, if they create a victim, then, that could be a problem. I don't give a shit about anything else. But
I've recently seen a lot of articles about problems in Minnesota with a lot of the Somalian refugees.
Europe, England.
And,
they're in big trouble.
And so a lot of these, Somalian guys apparently are a little aggressive when it comes to women and younger women in particular. And then if you go and look at like in their own country, like let's go look at their culture in their country and how does it work? I mean, sexual assault wasn't made a crime until 2017.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little late on the books for that.
I'm not saying that. But look, once you shoot a couple of them in the head for messing with your daughter, I got a feeling the rest of them will get the message.
I agree, but that doesn't seem to be occurring.
Well, then that's what the Second Amendment is for.
That is my only issue, is that people that want to come here and break our laws or try to change the laws to suit their needs.
Did you happen to watch that thing I told you about with Giuliani?
No.
Oh, God. I mean, literally every time he said anything about Iran, you could just put in America instead, and it made perfect sense. Everything. They want to destroy us. Yeah, we've pretty much been trying to destroy Iran for as long as they've existed. Yeah, that's true. I mean, literally everything you could flip and like, if you say that about America, you're absolutely right.
They should do a little sound effect for like a cash register sound every time he says Iran,
or just take it anytime he says Iran and put America. It would do the same thing. It'd be like it perfectly fits. It's like. And he's, of course, going like, oh, we have to go to Iran. There's no way we're not going to war with Iran. We have to have a regime change. It's got to happen. There's no avoiding it. This, that. If we don't, they're going to kill us. It's like, Jesus
have we done
Christ.
anything after the nuclear facility strikes? We haven't done anything else, have we?
We haven't, but I think Israel's been still hitting them.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I think we haven't done anything directly, though, after the strikes, right?
I don't think so. No. Not that I know of. But it doesn't matter. We're funding whatever Israel's doing is with our stuff, with our equipment, with our money, with our intelligence. It's just, I don't know. It's like they're basically saying, look, we need a puppet government or we ain't going to leave alone. You know, that's basically that's the deal. Here's the deal. You know, there's a guy on YouTube. Do you ever see this guy that's got his name of his page is Here's the Deal?
No, I don't remember that.
He started out doing like a lot of the auditing thing. He's actually a law professor. And he screams at cops. They have videos of him getting right in his face going, I dare you to take your fucking gun off and fight me, you fucking piece of shit. You know, he does not like cops. But he's got a great page, and he's actually just started delving into a lot of politics and stuff like that. But there's somewhere I was going with
I've seen
that.
a lot of videos of people that, like you said, auditing the police or, exercising their rights. And all I can say is that some of these people choose very odd hills to battle on, choose things to. The video I've seen recently that made me think of this is a guy fishing on a beach really close to a pier in a very obviously developed area, like parking lots, and it's not the wilderness at all.
Right.
And he's fishing, and he's got an AR around his neck. The cop, of course, walks up. The guy's telling him, "No, I'm allowed to have." And yes, the letter of the law does state that you are allowed to be armed when you're hunting or fishing or on your way to or from the hunting or fishing place.
Well, the Second Amendment says you're allowed to be armed all the time, no matter what.
But that exclusion and that clause is in there for clearly, like, there are plenty of places in Florida where if you're going to go to a fishing site in the middle of Ocala or something, you probably need an AR-15. There's feral hogs in Florida.
Yeah,
you need a couple of clips. You might even need that. But you don't need an AR-15 fishing on the beach.
Right.
You really don't.
Did you see the guy who got caught at the airport?
With
like an AR-15 and a bunch of knives and stuff. Just happened like either yesterday or the day before.
In his luggage or like on him?
No, they caught him. I guess somebody saw him gearing up in the parking lot, and they're like, "Hey, go get that guy." Which at first I was like, "Well, wait a minute. What did they arrest him for?" I mean, because if you just got a gun, I mean, that's the Second Amendment. But apparently he had like cocaine, and he was a convicted felon, so he's not supposed to have a gun.
Right.
But I don't know. He was suiting up to do something, supposedly. Maybe are these guys all MK Ultra? I mean, they're like him and the guy from New York that just walked in with. And also, how do you walk around in New York City, the most gun restricted fucking place on the planet? How do you just stroll down the street with a freaking rifle in your hand without somebody going, "Hey, It's just like, I don't know. These lone gunmen out of nowhere are just getting a little too prolific. It used to happen like what every 10 years or so, right? You get the tower shooter guy. Remember that guy?
Right.
But now it's like, God Almighty, who's the lone gunman this week?
Right. Well, we used to have a lot more serial killers. So I think that I honestly do believe I have a theory that one of the reasons we've seen a rise in mass shooters and things like that, school shootings and people crashing out and just trying to kill a bunch of people at once, is that it's become so difficult to be an old school serial killer. Have a nice long career, do it once a month or whatever, like they used to back in the 70s and 80s. They can't get away with it. If you want to get a big body count, you got to go for it all at once now.
Right. And now you mentioned that. I was thinking about this after our podcast with Patrick about the serial killers, about the fact that he had disproven some of the murders they had attributed to that guy.
Right.
So that means somebody else did it.
Well, no, not necessarily, because some of the people that he'd disproven were people that were still alive that they just never went to look for him because it was
Well, wait a minute. How would he be on a victim list?
Because they found their IDs on him and assumed since he had keeping the IDs of people that he killed, that those were also probably victims of his. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of just shoddy police work then, just assuming because he had the ID.
Yes, it is. Agreed.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, there's got to be something. Is there MK Ultra in the water now? Maybe, or is there some way they're just beaming it right into their heads?
You listen to the latest Rogan with the I can't remember the woman's name that was on there, but she wrote a book.
About the serial killers, yes,
about lead poisoning in the water and everything and affecting.
I fell asleep actually during that episode, so I didn't catch the whole thing, but I got the gist of it.
I listened to it on the way down today.
What was her evidence of any of this stuff?
Well, I mean, she couldn't prove causation, but she had some interesting charts to show correlation between the rise of violent crimes and the rise of the prolificness of serial killers in those decades, and linking it to sites where there were, I forget what, some kind of smelting activity that was going on.
I thought it was some kind of fertilizer or something.
No,
fertilizer of golf. Wasn't it golf?
She was mostly talking about
something?
smelting, and also, of course, when there was lead in the gasoline, leaded gasoline.
It didn't have something to do with proximity to golf courses?
No, I don't think so.
Why didn't I think that?
You must have dreamed it when you fell asleep.
Maybe
some crazy nap.
Possibly. Yeah,
she was talking about like I guess there was a smelting refinery or something in somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, Tacoma. I think it was Tacoma.
So what's
Washington.
the byproduct of smelting?
Lead and other heavy metals, cadmium and arsenic and lead and all kinds of other toxins.
It gets airborne in the air.
Well, it gets in the soil and it gets in the water. And I guess, sometimes even airborne as well. I was, when I was a kid, like maybe 7 or 8 years old, I got really, really sick. And then my sister did too. And they suspected that we had lead poisoning. And I remember that they made my grandmother bring in, she had to take some of the plates that we used to eat off. It was called Fiesta ware. And it's like a ceramic glazed plate, and apparently they were recalled because they had lead chips in the paint. But then it turned out we didn't. To this day, we never given. It was just some weird. At first, they thought it could have been viral meningitis. We both got crazy temperatures that spiked to like 104, and in the hospital for like a week, and then we got better. No idea what it was, but it wasn't lead poisoning. But I do remember them testing those. They were hideous orange plates too. I was glad to see him go.
Dude, they used to have a thing, I guess in the 50s. It was like a atomic ray gun ring or some shit like that.
They had all kinds of crazy shit. Remember
But dude, this ring actually had plutonium in it.
Uranium or plutonium?
Well, uranium. It must have been, yeah. But I mean, it literally had like a little chunk of uranium in it and had a little like film that like as the chunks would fly off and hit this film, it would make little lights.
They used to sell chemistry kits as toys, in like Toys R Us and stuff when I was a kid, and they had all kinds of toxic materials in them, liquid mercury and all kinds of shit you really shouldn't play with.
So if smelting makes you a serial killer, how about the people that work at the smelt? How do they not?
There was a lot of holes. I mean, it was interesting.
Say.
Plus, how come not everybody around there turns it? Obviously, it takes more than... that's just one of many, many factors that could possibly contribute to somebody turning into a violent individual. Because clearly not everybody who grew up around there all turned into killers, or that would have made the news for sure.
So what's the trigger on these guys from MK Ultra? What is it? What do you think it is that says, okay, now's the time to be insane or whatever the hell they do?
You mean, their phrase, their awakening phrase or whatever?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it is a hypnotic phrase.
I would imagine that it would either be, you would think it would have to be something either unique to each of them, I would assume, and also something either that can only be said in a certain tone or by a certain person, or a combination of words so weird and rare that it would, in other words, you wouldn't want it to happen accidentally.
Right.
You wouldn't want them to hear the phrase.
To be said by a certain person, because I think most all these people have handlers.
Yeah, I think it would be too, or at least the sound of that person's voice. Maybe not in person, but they
like
play
a phone
recording for them.
Go.
With AI, they can make and mimic anybody's voice.
It's true.
But again, I do believe, and again, I think it would also have to be a phrase that was not commonplace.
And like there was a chick that was on that made the podcast round, an older lady, and she actually made Jimmy Dorsey was the most scary podcast he'd ever done because she delved so deep in the deep state stuff. But she says, yeah, I was in MK Ultra. So, like, how do these people not know they're being conditioned?
I don't know. I mean, there's probably layers and levels to it. Not everybody knows. And just because you were in MK Ultra doesn't mean that you were experimented upon. You could have just been...
Well,
could have been a secretary.
Well, I mean, clearly the goal of it, if this is actually a thing we're talking about, but if MK Ultra is a thing and it exists, it's clearly to exert some kind of control over people, either hypnotic or whatever. Maybe it's chemical. Who even knows? But so there's a point I was going to make there, and now I don't know what it is. I'm having a lot of that today.
I've noticed.
It's that weed. I got some good weed.
Yeah, I smoked too much today. I hate when that happens.
And I don't even think it's too much. I think it's just the weed is really good. But yeah, no, I don't get it, man. How do you not know you're being conditioned? Or how do you just forget and then you hear the phrase and like, oh yeah, now I remembered all that stuff they taught me under hypnosis and about how to put together an AR-15 in 5 seconds or whatever the hell it is, Jason Bourne shit. I don't know. The whole thing's just... I mean, there's so little information on like that Crooks guy. Like, who was it they were comparing that to? Like somebody that the guy. No, was it the New York shooter guy? They were comparing somebody to Crooks. Like, we know everything there is to know about this guy in like a week, and we still don't know anything.
Yeah,
about him.
We know nothing about that kid.
And the other guys, we know what of what we know about him. The Roush guy, he's definitely involved in something.
What I mean, where is he now? What happened to that guy?
I don't know. I'm sure
he's alive, right? They didn't, he wasn't shot.
No. But here's the thing: maybe he's back in Ukraine now. Who the fuck knows? I mean, he was a guy that basically was trafficking, fighters to go to Ukraine from wherever the fuck he could find them. I don't know. The whole thing is just so crazy, and that's all these Trump. Who in their possible mind that supported Trump thinks he's winning? I get all these people like, we're just crushing. I'm like, wait a minute, we're still in Ukraine, still in Gaza, still a bunch of pedos running around we don't know about. We're still spending more money than we have. How are we winning? Oh yeah, so some old ladies and kids are getting thrown out of the country. Great, that's it. That's how we're winning. That doesn't seem like I don't know.
Yeah, border crossings and fentanyl. That's the only two things he can possibly say.
I got to say, I like the idea of offering illegal aliens money to go back.
It's $1,000, right?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, I mean, think about it. I don't know how bad it could be down in Mexico or Honduras or Guatemala or wherever the fuck you're from, but if you're here living with 30 other guys in one house to wake up every day and go pick strawberries or whatever, $1,000 to go back home, and trust me, $1,000 back in Honduras or Mexico, that's a lot of fucking money. That's like $10,000 here, or even more. Why wouldn't you? It makes perfect sense. Like, why am I?
Yeah, unless you were legitimately fleeing for your safety. If you were legitimately fleeing a war-torn area, or if
that's true. And we have. Well, I don't even know if
you're homosexual and you're fleeing one, some Sharia law country. I mean, there are legitimate reasons. There always have been.
I don't think there's so much war-torn going down there. It's just CIA-backed cartels that run everything, and if you get on the wrong side of them, you're in big trouble.
Well, if you're a civilian, I'm sure it feels like war-torn.
Well, yeah. It depends. I mean, I think there's some regions in Mexico that the cartels do a really good job of making it
running the state.
Yeah, making it nice and safe, and nobody fucks with anybody, and You could make an argument that some cartels are probably better than some local governments.
How's their hippo problem coming? They ever get that taken care of?
Hippo?
Yeah, you remember the Pablo Escobar had some pet hippos and they got out. I think they're in Colombia, but now there's like a small population of hippos there.
Dude, hippos will kill you in a heartbeat.
Yes, they will. Very vicious, territorial, mean sons of bitches.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if hippos started flourishing in Central America? All because of a drug dealer?
Did you know there was once a plan to import hippos to the United States to use as a meat source?
Really?
Yeah, they really thought they were going to, have these water cows. I can't remember what decade this was.
I wonder what hippo tastes like.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, the Native Americans ate the shit out of manatees. Apparently, manatees are like really, really good.
Yeah, they're probably pretty easy to catch too.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. And I've even heard of some old like Florida crackers that still do that. Like very on the down low. Obviously, it's highly illegal, but I think you can still, if you know a guy, I think you can still get a manatee steak.
That'd be interesting. I know they were thinking of using, I think it's emus. They were thinking of using as replacing turkeys with, because they're like apparently giant, delicious birds. And did I ever tell you about the time I served ostrich? I wish I'd have gotten a chance to try it, but
no.
Yeah, I was working at this really fancy restaurant, and they had a special of ostrich. And dude, it's red meat.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've never had it, but I have seen it. I dated. Well, I didn't date. I went on 2 dates with this chick back in the '90s, and her parents owned an ostrich farm, like out west of town. And
so you never got to eat any though?
No, I didn't. I only went on 2 dates.
I would love to try something.
But yeah, it was all because they thought it was going to be like the next big thing, and that they were going to raise these things for meat, but it really never caught on in this country. And I think there's some problems with raising them too. They're hard to catch. They're fast as hell.
True.
And they will fuck you up too.
Dude, Brian I just saw, that's funny. I just saw a little clip of Brian Callen doing a routine about ostriches. And it was fucking hilarious. Matter of fact, it was so hilarious, I was actually listening to a podcast and watched him do the clip with subtitles and still laughed my ass off. It was so funny. It was pretty good.
When I was a kid, one of my favorite books was the Swiss Family Robinson. One of the kids in that book rides an ostrich.
Yeah, in the movie. Have you ever seen the movie?
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, in the movie they do that. Is it that movie? There's some movie like Disney movie where they have ostrich races. Yeah, everybody gets on an ostrich and they're racing them around.
Yeah, I was just a little boy when I read that book and I liked it, and it wasn't until I got older that I realized how insane the book really is, in the sense that it's this island, an uninhabited island, sort of mostly until the end of the book when they find that chick, but it's an uninhabited island with animals that could not possibly all exist on one island.
I thought the animals were on the boat.
No. The only animals that were on the boat were like a cow and a pig.
Oh, I thought all those weird animals.
No. There's no ark thing. The animals on the boat were there. Were there to like start homesteading and start farms and whatnot. But yeah, because the thing had like penguins and polar bears and camels and lions and tigers and.
You wouldn't need to bring anything.
Yeah, but it had animals from all corners of the world. The animals from the Arctic and the Antarctic, and then
maybe the pirates brought them. The pirates. You didn't think of that.
I did not think of that. But yeah, but it was, pretty good escapism. I also didn't realize, I guess I did as a kid, but how heavy-handed the whole religious aspect of the book is. But it's very, very Christian.
I didn't read it. What was it so?
It's just, they're just a very Christian family, very wholesome. But they do a lot of praying in the book and a lot of
gotcha.
Thanks to God.
I didn't catch that from the movie.
I'm sure they toned it down for the movie and took a lot of that stuff out.
Actually, that movie was like 50s, 60s, so
yeah,
I'm sure it was in there a little bit, but not overtly. Like in those days, it was in a little bit.
It's good escapism though. As a kid, I liked it.
Well, you got anything else?
I think I've covered. Oh, I got one quick little thing, but it's it won't take very long. Have you ever seen, I know we're going to catch some flack for saying this on the air, but have you ever seen a black ginger? A black person who is also clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that.
Red fox.
Okay. All right. That's a good example. But they're rare, right?
Right.
So anyway, there's this company called Hims. And they do run commercials all the time on YouTube. And I guess it's for hair loss and boner pills mostly. One of they've got this one commercial that keeps running, and whoever this actor is, God help him, I'm sure he's a great guy or whatever, but his face just pops up on the screen, and he is black, ginger, covered in freckles, and portly. He's a big fella, and all you see is his face, and all I can think every time I see the commercial is, dude, these pills aren't going to help you. Your problems run far deeper. You are one of the weirdest.
Only scratching the surface.
One of the weirdest looking people. I know there's somebody out there for everybody, but my God, man, I don't know who it is for this guy. He's one of the weirdest looking people I've ever seen. And I know I'm not attractive. I'm not trying to say that I am, but holy moly, the combination of it all is just too much, man.
That's a good laugh to end this episode on. That's
almost like if Ice Cube and Carrot Top had a kid. Like, it's just insane. So
oh, I
bad.
just saw it. Oh, this is so funny. I just saw a clip of Carrot Top, and he says, "This is hilarious, funny." I'm sure he tells it much better than me, but he says he saw what's the guy's name? Not Rip Torn, Rip Taylor. You know who Rip Taylor is, right?
Yeah, the insult guy.
No, he's
Oh, no,
extravagant.
Yes.
With the confetti and everything,
Yes.
right? So he says he ran into Rip Taylor at in Vegas something, and Rip Taylor was like, "You motherfucker, you stole my act. You're a thief." Blah 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 blah. And he's like, anyway. So he apparently Rip Taylor went on Jay Leno and kind of did the same thing, like fucking Carrot Top stole. And Carrot Top saw it and calls Jay Leno. He goes, "Listen, I want a rebuttal. I want a reply." And apparently he couldn't get on the show or whatever, so he had to kind of like send in a tape as a reply. And the tape he sent in, apparently he said he made it at the Comedy Store. And he says he told the guys, "Hey, I just want to film a thing." And he says on the tape, he comes in dressed as Rip Taylor with the jacket and everything, with the bag of confetti, throwing it at people as he walks in, like literally blatantly stealing his.
Nice.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Jon Stewart is the show he was on, because he's telling the stories. He goes, Jon Stewart was just fucking dying laughing. But anyway, that's all I got. Let's get out of here. I'm hungry.
It's smoking hot in here, too. Like, subscribe, leave us comments, and, of course, the number that you can call and leave questions that we'd love to answer on the air if anybody ever wants to call, 904-549-9024. That's 904-549-9024.
9024.
Yes.
Last one. Gotcha. All right, guys. We'll see you next one.
Yep. Thanks for watching.